Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave Harvey, and we are Innovative Management Solutions. The rest of my team couldn't be here today, but I do have Hardeep helping me with the PowerPoint. We did a similar presentation to what I'm going to do earlier, but I wanted to kind of take a different look at it. And I'll give you, once again, a little backstory for it. We did this story with Joe, which you heard just a few moments ago. I was trying to think of something innovative, once again, to bring to the table for this presentation, and I had nothing. So what I had done was I had designed just this, just kind of a basic, your regular Joe PowerPoint presentation. Went to sleep and woke up the next morning just with this vision, this dream that I had. And this is kind of where we'll go with this. Peter and Carlos are actually competing against each other as the two remaining finalists in the lost season of The Apprentice. They are seated in the boardroom with the Donald, George, and Carolyn, as Mr. Trump explains to the two of them that they'll be competing for a huge salary and a never-before-offered prize of dating his daughter, Ivanka Trump. And you can probably imagine the dream that I might have had, but moving on. The task is to take, what did you add? You had to add more slides, really, of her?
Sorry.
Really? Next slide?
I kind of did.
All right. I mean, oh, geez, come on. This is just overkill here. This is overkill here.
I apologize.
The task is to take two young companies and one well-established company and make them better. The clients will give them the guidelines. The first stop is Gamey Creek Productions, and Peter and Carlos sit down with Ryan Them, and Ryan who's actually the chief editor of Gamey Creek Productions, and Ryan says, our company wants to innovate by finding profitable ways to meet our clients' needs. The second stop is to Dr. Johns Candies, where the two sit down with Ed Oliveira, CEO and partner, and Ed tells them you have to be innovative to succeed and be able to innovate in different directions. He elaborates, here's an example of how we were able to innovate within packaging. He motions Peter and Carlos towards the display and points out a sticker that has some basic kind of contact information, website, phone number, so on. He points out that with the new packaging they're about to do, the label will actually be printed on the gift basket itself instead of on a sticker. Ed asks the two of them, do you know how much money this is going to save us? And both of them just kind of shake their head, and obviously they don't. He says, with a sly grin, a lot. He mentions the fact that he doesn't have to use one of his employees to apply the sticker or to pay for the printing of the sticker itself. Innovating is not always about the big stuff. It's not always about developing a new product or a service feature. Sometimes it's about the little stuff that makes day-to-day business cheaper and easier. The last stop they take is shortcut. They drive behind the Target store on 28th Street and turn onto a street named Innovation Court, and this is true. You can actually drive down there yourself and find out if you'd like. Peter and Carlos pass GE Aviation and eventually pull into the driveway. This time, Peter and Carlos are sitting down with two women, Kathy Tabor, who is the customer service supervisor, and Linda Pitt, the service center manager. The two men sit down with these two women. They start talking about the importance of communication within their company. Linda adds, that's where our company has been so innovative. We make sure that everyone is heard, and at the core, it's about making things easier for our employees. Kathy says, we're looking for someone who's willing to take the risk of doing something different. And Linda adds to that, we don't want someone who's afraid to set the bar too high. Now, at this point, Peter and Carlos are going to part ways, and from here, we're going to be following only Carlos. Carlos, you actually used to live in the area. In fact, Carlos actually took some classes at Grand Rapids Community College. And with all this talk of innovation, he remembers doing a project called Inter. Carlos actually decides to pull up the Inter site, and he recalls at the time there were a few bugs and glitches with the usability, but remembers it being really beneficial for him. He opens up the site and starts searching around. He finds that Inter stands for Innovate Now Through Education and Retraining. The design of the site is a social website that contains modules and activities that allow the user to think differently, respond differently, and share differently. The site is divided into four main sections. We have Me, creative capacity and capability, process, methodology, and conversion. We, collaboration and connection, and outcomes, adoption and impact. Carlos also finds that the site has targeted its market towards three main groups. We have teachers, students, and professionals. He also happened to stumble onto some videos from projects that past classes had done before. The first one was by a group that called themselves Innovative Management Solutions. But he still wasn't sure exactly what innovation was. We had a good idea, but remembers that the Innovative Management Solutions presentation mentioned a book by A.G. Lafley. Now, Carlos buys the book, and within the first few pages, he finds that A.G. has set out kind of a group of guidelines to what it takes to being what he calls a game changer, and the book is called The Game Changer. A game changer is a visionary strategist who alters the game his business plays or conceives an entirely new game, a creator who uses innovation as the basis for sustaining profitable organic growth and consistently improving margins, a leader who understands that the consumer or customer, not the CEO, is boss, and a catalyst who uses innovation to drive every element of a business from strategy to organization and from budgeting and resource allocation to selecting, rewarding, and promoting people. Upon using the site, Carlos noticed that most of the innovations had been done by the students themselves, or at least the ideas were. He noticed first a tool similar to the one that he had seen on a Starbucks website, My Starbucks Idea. Here users can post suggestions and ideas, and other users can vote on the best ones, making it a very engaging community. He also noticed that there was a social integration with some cross-integration of other social websites like Facebook, Zanga, MySpace, LinkedIn, any one of these, really. One of the more clever ideas he saw was a portion of the website dedicated to user-submitted and facilitator-approved research. There was also a chat feature that was similar to that of Gmail's chat. In fact, it was probably driven by Google's technology. And the last thing he noticed was a tool for mind mapping. Carlos had never seen this before. Turns out it's a way where you can organize the way your mind works. Carlos found it really difficult to explain, but was relieved that there was a video that helped to describe it for him. And if anyone wants to see the video, there actually is one on our disk here. Carlos utilized all of these tools for developing solutions for the three companies. For Dr. Johns Candies, Carlos recommended scan-based trading and encouraged them to push into Kroger stores, another very innovative company. For Gaming Creek Productions, he recommended doing cross-promotions with companies in similar fields to cut costs. And for Guardsman, he recommended automating a lot of the processes for the service staff in order for the staff to streamline the process, as well as free up the staff to do more important things. The clients were incredibly pleased with Carlos and his solutions and implemented these changes right away. Peter didn't do any of these things because he simply didn't fully understand what innovating is and never got educated on it. Now, you can imagine, based on what these results are, what Mr. Trump had to say to Peter's failure. Everyone at the same time? You fired. There we go. That's good. That was okay. That was okay. One more? You're fired. There we go. That's much better. Now, this story, albeit fictional, illustrates the potential possibility of this website in the class to business professionals. Once again, this is very similar to what I just did here, but I think it really kind of diverges on away from the student aspect and concentrates more on what it could be to other people, not just students, because not just students need to be learning. It needs to be a constant throughout your career, learning, educating, and teaching as well. And if there's any questions, feel free to ask me after this.